Gold Squad TV. Marcellus Wiley, you know, I've never took you seriously as an NFL player when you played. So when you talk about guys like Tom Brady in any shape or form of disrespect, try to shit on that man's legacy or his greatness as if like he's not the undisputed GOAT. I just want you to understand something. Before you go and say anything of that regard, you need to look yourself in the mirror. You played in the NFL. You played 10 seasons. You started off with the Bills, ended up with the Jaguars. You were a contract player, a contract season guy. So whenever your contract was up, you played well. So when you got a new contract, you could rest on your laurels. You see, I see why you don't like Tom Brady. Because even though you're extremely intelligent and you have a Columbia degree and you're extremely intelligent, I would never deny that for you. You're also playing yourself into being so smart you're stupid. Because it exposes, your situation exposes why Tom Brady's great. The reason why Tom Brady has lasted this long is that he's dedicated to his craft. This man literally spends day after days after days, year in and year out, improving not just his game, improving his nutrition, improving his lifestyle, staying on top of his diet, staying on top of being ahead of the game when it comes to his weapons and knowing every scheme and system to play and pretty much knowing the up and downs of the game. This man has played 22 seasons. You said something to the effect Tom Brady can never be the GOAT because Tom Brady always had players who were better than him in his era, to where if you're the GOAT, it should never be disputed. You've always had, your point is, you always felt Brady had players that were better than him in eras. So apparently, according to you, which you seem to always tend to speak for the players, when it's only really a small handful full of players that probably played back when you were playing, who didn't like Brady because they were older and didn't like Brady, who sit there and say that Brady's not the best, he's not the greatest. He always had Coach Belichick behind him, or he always played in the system, or he wasn't really that great. He was just really good at dinking dunking. And see, guys like you are what we call people who are happy being mediocre. Your mediocrity speaks in your football game and the way you played over the years, all these years. You've always been a mediocre player. So it's funny how you go up to other mediocre players that were okay, but they're really guys that just played for contracts. They weren't playing because they loved the game. Because I'm sure you would sit there and say Tom Brady doesn't love the game when a guy played 22 seasons. You openly come out and said you didn't really care for the fucking game. You know what I mean? So it's not like this is like some type of revelation. Everybody's been known this. You've always been a joke. You've always been a joke. The reason why you were on Sports Nation is because you were funny. You wore a belt that said that dude. If that doesn't scream insecurity, I don't know what else does. You have to live by this vicarious character and ego because you stunk as a player. You had one Pro Bowl. You stunk. You were basically a guy that went to teams to suck up their financial success and energy. You hustled the game. So you were the guy that was like, work smarter, not harder. You didn't work on your game. You worked on other things because you knew football was going to be gone and you weren't going to be able to have a long career. You didn't even desire. You do know you're the guy that replaced Bruce Smith. The legendary Bruce Smith. So, salute to Bruce Smith. Bruce Smith was a great defensive end. I mean, he's top 5 in sacks all time. Played for those beautiful Buffalo Bill teams that lost to 4 straight Super Bowls, but it was never of his fault. You replaced him. And let me tell you something, you did a horrible job doing it. You weren't even good. Outside that 1 year, after that you were mediocre, then went and played for San Diego. You had 1 good year with them, which is your first year. And then contract year came years later. You end up getting let go. You play for Dallas for a couple of seconds, didn't do shit there, and finish your career in Jacksonville. Tom Brady would have never played for 5 teams, 4 teams, or you played for Buffalo, Jacksonville, Dallas, San Diego. That's 4 teams. Tom Brady would have never played for 4 teams. Would have hung it up. What he's doing is unprecedented. You don't gotta like Tom Brady, but what he's doing is unprecedented. We're never gonna find some shit like this again. The fact of the matter, you think that Peyton Manning was better than him when Brady got the better of Manning multiple times? The fact that you think anyone's better than Tom Brady, who has the most Super Bowl rings. You sit there, well, you saying, well, that's a team accomplishment. You're an idiot. You're a pure idiot. Like, nobody cares about what you think is a team accomplishment, you idiot. You think your little 5 seconds of a half a sack matters to a Super Bowl team, bro? Because that's all you'd be willing to give if you're lucky. Would have survived the no Belichick teams, I'll tell you that. You would have got rid of your ass quick. That said, man, I ain't never been a fan of this dude. I mean, he's not the only one that hates Brady. There's a lot of guys that do. I don't particularly care. But at this point, this dude's won 7 Super Bowls. Ain't nobody even close to him as an individual player. Not to mention a quarterback. For you to even utter the words that he's never been the best quarterback of his generation, the rings speak for themselves. You don't win 6 Super Bowl MVPs. Or 5 Super Bowl MVPs. By accident. Nobody cares about what you do in a regular season. If you want to go and praise Peyton Manning, nobody cares about those numbers he put up. He massively underperformed when it mattered. How the fuck did Peyton Manning only come out of that with only 2 Super Bowl rings? He didn't even play good in either one of those Super Bowls. He played like shit in both wins. Played like shit against the Bears. He played like shit against the fucking Carolina Panthers. You could make the argument the defense won those 2 Super Bowls for him. He didn't even play well. You want to sit there and rely on numbers. Like, Tom Brady pretty much passed Peyton Manning and is going to pass Drew Brees on all-time yardage. What is there to talk about? This dude's got 7 rings. It's hilarious, man. Anyway, what do you guys think of Marcellus Wiley? You think this dude's a joke? Gold Squad TV. Leave a like, subscribe. Peace.